Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Welcome to episode 4 of Covertape Chaos. This series has proven to be more popular than I first anticipated. I just wanted to say thank you to those who took the time to comment on the last episode asking for more. I wasn't going to make episode 4 for a while, but after seeing those comments I've adjusted my schedule and brought this episode forward. The issue that this tape came attached to had a special feature and all the many different movie license games that were being released at the time, with Robocop 2 being slap bang in the middle of them. I do remember playing this game quite a lot as a friend of mine had the cartridge version of it. It's definitely not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, and like many such C64 games the jumping can be rather finicky. As for this demo specifically, it takes place in a factory that's littered with dangers such as electricity, cogs, crushers and other machinery. Your task is to destroy as much of the incredibly dangerous new street drug nuke as you can, while also rescuing hostages and taking out henchmen working for the evil drug lord Kane. The game features incredibly colourful graphics, especially compared to the rather dark movie that it's based on, and is generally a fun time, except for the harsh difficulty. After losing many Murphys, I did manage to get all the way to the end of the demo though. Overall, it's a little on the frustrating side, and probably one of those games that you would play through with the poke activated. I have never really played Beyond the Forbidden Forest before making this video. I think I have watched it being played, though I could be confusing it with its predecessor. At first I was really confused and thought that maybe the game was broken, as there were no enemies appearing, no matter how long I walked to the right. It turns out though that I was in practice mode and had to press F7 to launch the game proper. The game might look really blocky nowadays, but it's still quite atmospheric with the thunder and lightning on the title screen and the very foreboding, if a little shrill, soundtrack. The goal is to work your way through the Forbidden Forest, slaying all the horrible beasties that you encounter and earning golden arrows. Eventually you will then move on to the underworld, if you're good enough at least, where your golden arrows will be doubled. Dying here though will reduce your stock of the arrows, and you will need these to stand any chance of defeating the Demigorgon and beating the game. I found the controls pretty tricky to master though, and was constantly being killed. The death animations are really quite gory, and can see your poor archer being pierced repeatedly by the stinger of a giant scorpion, swallowed whole and digested by a gargantuan worm, sucked dry by a mammoth mosquito, or torn apart by an ugly ape-like thing with huge teeth. It would seem that you can respawn as much as you like out in the forest, but as already mentioned, once you get to the underworld, which I was too rubbish to do, your stock of the vital golden arrows is depleted every time you die. Overall I had fun playing this even though I was crap at it, and I can see why it's regarded as a classic game by many. Bounder is another C64 classic that I was very glad to be part of my collection thanks to this power pack. You play the part of an anthropomorphic tennis ball as he bounces his way up the screen, avoiding holes and other hazards. It's a very enjoyable little action game with pretty tight controls and catchy music, but once again the challenge level is pretty high. I struggled to get past level 2. The title screen even mentions that this is apparently a rebalanced version to make the game a bit easier and more fun to play. Throughout the levels you will find arrow pads that can extend your bounce, and question mark pads that can either contain something good like extra balls, or a mouth that will eat you. This can feel rather unfair and gives the game a bit of a trial and error aspect. After each of the main levels is a bonus level, where you have to land on each of the question mark pads in as few bounces as possible. You're given a total of 40 bounces to start with, and these tick down every time you touch the floor in a bonus stage. Upon completion of the stage, you're awarded bonus points and given extra balls should you earn any. The number of lives that you're given in Bounder is deceptive. These can be lost very easily due to the harsh design of the stages. Definitely another one that I would have played with the aid of an action replay cartridge back in the day. I remember the demo of Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge being the highlight of this tape for me when I bought the issue of the magazine, as I love racing games and had been anticipating this one for a while. While obviously inferior to the Amiga version in every way, Lotus Esprit was still a fun time on the C64, and this demo whetted my appetite for the full game nicely, though I was quite disappointed to discover that the demo was not actually playable. No, Gremlin had given us a rolling demo, what a tease. Looking at the game in the harsh light of 2015, it's obvious how ugly it looks. If there's one genre that really benefited from the transition from sprites to 3D polygons, it's the driving genre. So Power Pack number 4 was a pretty decent effort overall. It is disappointing that Lotus Esprit isn't playable, and I am personally not very good at Beyond the Forbidden Forest or Bounder at all, but that's not the fault of the games really.